Good morning, students. Welcome to English class. Today we will be seeing a new chapter from Unit 2, that is 2.2, The Three Questions, written by Leo Tolstoy. Before actually starting with this chapter, children, I would like to tell you the summary on it. Basically, this is a story. So, let us see what is in it. Once it happened that the king got an idea that he wanted to know the answers of his three questions, and he thought that if he knew the answers to these three questions, he would never fail in anything to do. So, now let us see what were those three questions. Number 1, what was the right time to begin something? Number 2, who were the right people to listen? And number 3, what was the important thing to do? And in order to get the answers of these three questions, the king had sent messengers to do a proclamation, that is, an announcement throughout his kingdom. He promised to give a reward to the person who answers his three questions. Many wise men tried their luck and came forward. They gave numbers of answers. In response to the first question, someone said that the king should go for a timetable. Another suggested that the king should consult wise men or magicians. In response to the second question, one said that the king must give importance to the counselor. The other said to priest. Someone said to doctors or to soldiers. In reply to the third question, the wise men give importance to science or to warfare, that is fighting, or religious worship. Even after getting multiple answers, the king wasn't satisfied. He went to a hermit in the forest alone. There he saw the old and weak hermit digging the ground. Seeing this, the king felt pity on hermit. The king asked his questions but got no answer in return. Then he asked the hermit that he can take the hermit's spade and dig the ground for some time. So the king took the spade from the hermit and began to work in his place. Several hours passed. It was evening. So the king stopped digging the beds. The king was ready to take leave from the hermit. Just then, the hermit told the king that someone was running towards them. The king saw a bearded man running towards them. His hands were pressed against his stomach, from which blood was oozing out. As he reached the king, he fainted and fell to the ground. He had a large wound in his stomach. The king washed the wound and compressed it with his handkerchief. At last, the bleeding stopped. The man felt better and asked for water to drink. The king gave him fresh water. The sun had set by then. The king and the hermit carried the wounded man into the hut and laid him on the bed. The tired king also fell asleep. When he awoke, the bearded man asked to forgive him. The man was in fact the king's enemy. He had followed the king to take revenge on him. He had taken an oath to kill the king. The king had once put his brother to death and seized his brother's property. The man hid himself in a bush on the way to the forest. He came out of his hiding place when the king did not return for long. As we know, the king was digging the bed till evening. He got wounded by king's bodyguard. He would have died if the king had not dressed his wound. He felt grateful to the king who had saved his life. He promised to serve the king as a faithful servant throughout his life. The king was happy that he had made peace with his enemy. He forgave the man and promised to give back his property. The king then went up to the hermit. He again asked for answers to his 3 questions. The hermit explained that you have already got your answers. The king asked in surprise, "How?" The hermit answered that by digging the beds for him, the king had escaped attack. So the most important time was when he was digging the beds. The hermit himself was the most important person. So to do him good was the king's most important thing. Children, so now let us see the actual lesson on page number 52. The 3 questions by Leo Tolstoy, 1828 to 1910, was a Russian writer who is regarded as one of the greatest authors of all time. He first achieved literary acclaim in his 20s with his semi-autobiographical trilogy, Childhood, Boyhood and Youth. Children, in this para, we get to know that Leo Tolstoy was born in the year 1828 and died in 1920. Was one of the greatest authors of all time. Let's see his work. He had written a very important semi-autobiography trilogy based on childhood, boyhood and youth. I'm going to the next para. A parable is a short story with a moral lesson. A parable usually has human characters. This parable concerns a king who wants to find the answers to what he considers to be the 3 most important questions in his life. Children, by this para, we come to know that this present story of our textbook is a basic part from the big moral story, that is the 3 questions. And such short moral stories which have human characters are called parable. Starting with the actual story. Once a certain king had an idea. If he always knew the right time to begin everything, if he knew who were the right people to listen to and who to avoid, the most important thing to do, he would never fail in anything that he would undertake, and above all, if he always knew what was the most undertake. Since he was convinced that he was right in thinking this way, he had a proclamation made in his kingdom. He would give a great reward to anyone who would teach him what the right time was for every action, who the most necessary people were, and how he might know the most important thing to do. Children, this para starts with a story where the king is deep in thought. Let me tell you, children, in this story, there are 3 main characters. Number 1, the king. Number 2, hermit. And number 3, a bearded man. So, the story starts with the king deep in thought. He wanted to be a good king who didn't want to commit any mistake. He had some questions of which he didn't know the answers, but he strongly believed that if he found the answers, then he would never fail or would never make any mistake. Now let us know what these questions were. The first question was, what was the right time to begin something? Second, which people should he listen to? Third, what was the most important thing to do? These were the three questions which he had, and he strongly believed that if he gets the answers to these questions, then he would be a good king to his subjects. Children, when a king has a doubt, whom whose help does he seeks? Of course, his ministers' help, right, children? But his ministers could not clear his doubt either. So he sent a messenger throughout the kingdom to make a proclamation, that is, an announcement. The king promised a large sum of money to anyone who answers his questions. The messengers went from place to place and made this announcement throughout the kingdom. Let's see the second paragraph. Many learned people came to the court, but they all gave different answers. In reply to the first question, some said that to know the right time for every action, one must draw up in advance a table of days, months, and years, and must live strictly according to it. Others declared that it was impossible to decide beforehand the right time for every action, but that not letting oneself be absorbed in idle pastime. One should always attend to all that was going on and then do that was most essential. Yet others said that it was impossible for one man to decide correctly the right time for every action, and that the king should instead have a council of wise people who would help him to fix the proper time for everything. Children, this para conveys that on hearing the king's announcement, many wise people came to give different answers of the king's questions. The first man said, "Your Majesty, you should prepare a timetable and follow it very strictly. Then you can do everything at the right time perfectly." But another wise man said, No, Majesty. How can you decide everything in advance? You cannot do that. It's impossible. Yet the another man said, Oh, Majesty, you have to observe everything carefully. Do not waste your time. Do not involve in foolish pastime like hunting, partying, or dancing. Observe all things carefully and do whatever seems necessary at that time. And then many more people came, and the king asked everyone, Do you have an answer for me? The first one said, You cannot take all the important decisions yourself. You need intelligent men to advise you. And so you need the counsel of wise men. But the second one disagreed by saying that, King, something could be urgent and you cannot wait for the decision of others. You cannot wait for your counselors to make decisions. You have to decide everything. And the third said, My king, to find out what is the right time to do something, you should know what happens in the future. If you know what happens in the future, then you can plan everything in advance. But I guess only magicians know what happens in the future. So I think that you should go to the magicians to find out about the future. In this way, all their answers were so different, and the king was not satisfied with their answers and was disappointed. So the king said, All your answers are very different and not satisfactory, so I cannot reward you for these answers. Let's switch to the next para. Equally varied were the answers to the second question. Some said the king most needed were his counselors, others the priest, others the doctors, while some said the warriors were the most necessary. Children, this para tells That to the second question, which was, who were the right people to listen to? One said doctors, another one said soldiers, and the other one said priests. Again, so different and unsatisfactory the answers were. Let's see the third question. Let me read. To the third question about what was the most important occupation, some replied that the most important thing in the world was science. Others said it was skill in warfare, and the others again that it was religious worship. The king was convinced by none of these answers and gave the reward to none. Children, this para tells that to his third question, which was, what was the most important thing to do? One man said, develop science. Another one said, warfare. And the other said, worship God. The replies were very, very different. Hearing all these, the king was very disappointed. He thought to himself, my most wise ministers and all the wise men in the kingdom have failed to give me a solution. What am I going to do? How am I going to find the answers to my question? How am I going to be a good king? But then he got an idea. Let's see what the idea was. Moving to the next para, he decided instead to go to a hermit who was widely renowned for his wisdom. The hermit lived in a small hut in a forest which he never left. He spoke only to the common folk. So the king put on simple clothes and, approaching the hermit's cell, dismounted his horse and left his bodyguard behind. This para conveys that once the king have heard that a very wise hermit lived in the woods, that is, forest. He had heard that the hermit was a very simple man and he never came out of the forest. The hermit only spoke to simple people. So the king decided to go and meet the hermit. The king mounted his horse and left to meet the hermit. When he finally found the hermit's hut, he got down and asked his bodyguards to wait with the horse far away. And he walked alone to the hermit's hut because the hermit meets only common people. Let's see the next para. When the king arrived, the hermit was digging the ground in front of his hut. He greeted the king but went on digging. The hermit was frail and weak, and each time he struck the ground with the spade and turned over a little earth, he breathed heavily. The king went up to him and said, I have come to you, wise hermit, to ask you to answer 3 questions. How can I learn to do the right thing at the right time? Who are the people I most need, and to whom should I therefore pay most attention? And what affairs are the most important and need my first attention? This para conveys, when the king came near the hermit's hut, he saw a hermit digging the ground. He was preparing the ground for planting the seeds. When the hermit saw the king, he greeted the king, Hello, young man, and continued digging. The king told hermit, Oh, wise hermit, I have 3 questions. I hope you could help me to find answers to them. But the hermit did not give any reply and continued digging. So he proceeded to ask his questions. Oh, wise hermit, when is the right time to begin something? What is the most important thing for me to do? Which people should I listen to? Let's see how did the hermit react. Moving to the next para. The hermit listened to the king but said nothing. He just spat on his hand and resumed digging. The king watched in silence for a while. Then, feeling sorry for the hermit, he said, "You are tired. Let me take the spade and work a while for you." The hermit silently handed over the spade and sat down on the ground. When he had dug 2 beds, the king stopped and repeated his questions. The hermit again gave no answer, but rose, stretched out his hand for the spade, and said, "Now rest a while and let me walk a bit." But the king did not give him the spade and continued to dig. This para conveys that after hearing all the questions from the king, the hermit listened very carefully but didn't give any reply. He just continued to dig. He looked weak, old, and breathed heavily. The king told the hermit, "You look tired. Please let me help you at least." Children, though he was a king, but he was ready to help hermit without a second thought. This is a value to learn and inculcate within. Children, we must treat our elders with respect without being egoistic of one's post. We must be ever ready to help them. But it's disheartening to see this value fading nowadays from the young ones. Moving ahead. So the hermit gave his spade to the king and sat down on the ground. The king had dug 2 beds and he had done lot of work. He stopped and then he looked at the hermit and said, "Oh wise sir, please answer my questions and help me. When is the right time to begin something? Or what is the most important thing for me to do? Which people should I listen to?" But the hermit didn't give any reply. He just told the king, "Okay, young man, you have done enough. Now you rest and let me work." But the king said, "It's okay, I'll do it." And he continued digging. Let's see what happened next. The next para. 1 hour passed and another. The sun began to sink behind the trees, and the king at last stuck the spade into the ground and said, "I came to you, wise one, for an answer to my questions. If you can give me none, please say so, and I will go home." "Here comes something running," said the hermit. "Let us see who it is." This para tells, the king dug, an hour passed, and then 2 hours passed, and finally, when the sun went behind the tree, he asked the hermit, "Oh wise hermit, I have traveled so far to seek your help, to get answers to my questions. If you cannot help me, please tell me, so I'll go away." But the hermit was not looking at him. He was looking at the man who was running towards them. Now, children, who was the man? Why was he running towards them? All these answers we will see in part 2. So, till then, thank you.